It is important to understand that more than 70% of county health departments' funding in Arizona comes from federal dollars, and local businesses like Cozy Home and Flagstaff are having to lay off employees because the federal IRA funds are being withheld from our state's energy efficiency program, funds that would help a large number of lower-income Arizonans who are already facing high energy bills and to make their homes more energy efficient.
I really want to just start by thanking your Attorney General. What I hear in Washington, D.C., from the President and from Elon Musk and from others is a language that is stripped of any humanity. And stripped of any understanding of what truly makes America great.
From the state of Oregon, the Constitution is clear. When Congress allocates money for the federal government, a new administration cannot prevent the money from being used for its stated purpose. In other words, while the president may be a powerful person, he does not have some sort of superpower that lets him travel back in time to veto the decisions that have already been approved. Go Ducks, I'm from Corvallis. Across this country, from Oregon to Arizona to New York, over the past month, we have witnessed a disturbing pattern of federal workers being fired, pushed out, or silenced. Our office in Oregon has been inundated with calls and emails from people affected by these unprecedented and unlawful terminations.
But friends, as much and as awesome as Chris is, the truth is, you know, we're saying that the appointments clause of the Constitution is being violated by having this unelected oligarch just rummaging through our government.
And Sophia here has the microphone. So we're going to start with...
I was heartbroken to receive an email on Monday, February 24th, that said I was terminated immediately. That meant that not only could veterans no longer access the services I provided, but I could not follow my own code of ethics, providing termination services to the veterans. Normally, when you end music therapy, you're supposed to give them recommendations, give them suggestions, encourage them to set their own goals to interact with music on their own. But these veterans, some of whom are very fragile, were unable to have that closure, which puts them at risk for depression, anxiety, or even suicidal ideation.
We provide case management and nutrition for low-income individuals living with HIV. All of these things are at risk because we were told that we were focusing on DEI and gender ideology. So in order to serve our clients, our community, not all of whom are queer, we were told that we had to take the very fabric of who we are out of our language. The grants that were written were specific for these communities to ensure that they could be protected so that all communities are protected. What you have done is allowed us to continue our work. 21% of my funding comes from federal grants. It covers 40% of my staff. I've already had to lay off 3 individuals that were vital to our operations.
The onslaught of misinformation, threats, and the propagation of non-evidence-based treatments and therapies coming from the new administration harms our patients and erodes the public's trust in the medical system. Since the election, I have heard patient after patient express fear that they will not be able to access care that they know to be critical to their current and future well-being. I took care of a patient last week who was crying, panicked about her access to contraception. She wasn't a candidate for the longest-acting reversible contraceptive device we have, a 12-year IUD, and she had to settle for a 5-year implant. She asked me, what am I going to do in 5 years? Will I even be allowed to have birth control? Will I even be able to afford it?
There's also $250,000 in salaries I've heard, still to be paid between now and June 30th. And we've heard stories from people here. We're going to hear more stories tonight about people that have lost their jobs. I'm proud to say that Osborne's going to honor our contracts through June 30th, through the end of the school year. That's $250,000 that we did not have budgeted. We'll pull it out of reserves, and I'm proud of my CFO for great leadership and fiscal stewardship, and of my governing board for standing behind me and saying we're gonna honor these contracts.
That we made to our community. That promise that we are breaking affects everyone in our community.
My aim as a teacher, as a principal, and as a director has always been to support students and to strengthen our communities. But now I find myself facing uncertainties, wondering how I provide for my own family.
To federal contractors' obligations, we investigate discrimination complaints